Literature review. Literature review is usually the longest stage in the research process. Actually, the literature review starts even before formulation of research aims and objectives, because you have to check if exactly the same research problem been addressed before. This is important. If you don't have literature, on your research, you cannot do research. What is that? Can you tell me now? If you want to do a research, you have to go and see, is there any researches done by others? Because you are doing deductive research, no? What do you mean deductive research? Other people already done the same research. You go and see on the topic area, if there is any researches, you have to go and see. So you have to go and search the researches, right? If you have research, then you can take the literature from there. So you have to support your problems with literature. Your independent variables, you have to support your independent variables, the correlations. So how things are there, right? Already there are other researchers there. So you have to go and see how these things addressed in the previous researches. You have to go and see. So you are going to review this area. Is there any researches already done? You have to go and see. Okay, what is literature review? A survey of everything that has been written about a particular topic or theory or research question. It may provide background for a large work. It may stand on its own, much more than a simple list of sources. Effective literature review analyzes and synthesizes information about the key theme and issues. On the issue, you should have some literature, some kind of research done. So you have to go, the theory you have to bring. Why literature review is important? Why you have to write? To discover that has written about the topic already. Is there any research done on the topic? So you are going to prove it. That's why you have to go for, you are going to discover it. So is there any one done the same topic? You have to go and discover it. That is one thing. And to determine what each source contribute to the topics. So you have to go and see what is the contribution. And to understand the relationship between various contributions. What are the various contributions? You have to identify, resolve the contradiction. Maybe there are contradictions. So one I have done supporting, other one is done contradictions. So you have to tell both. According to Mohideen's research, there is supporting points. According to AHAMED research, there are some contradictions. Now, you are going to see how these two already is going to come in your research. When you do research, you can say, according to Mohideen research is right. It's not supportive, but it's right. It's supportive. But AHAMED research is not supportive. So in my research, AHAMED research is not supportive. Mohideen research is supportive. You have to tell like that. If you establish the facts in your literature, that will help you to compare and tell. You understand? According to Mohideen research, there is a positive turnover. There is a positive relationship between the employee turnover and the salary. You understand? So you can tell this one is there in my research also. You have to bring that connection. So you have to establish, first you have to discover what has been written on the topic already. You have to determine the source contribution to the topic, and you have to understand the relationship between the various contribution and identify, resolve, and predict there are contradictions or gap. So what is the gap? Unanswered questions. There are some gaps you have to identify. So sometime in the research, I will put in my conclusion, and also I will put some further research. I will do some recommendations. So this is what I didn't identify. There are in my questions, there are some answers I have got, that questions I didn't cover. These are the area I didn't address. So you have to identify that gap, unanswered questions. So you take that questions in the same research you can do. Because he tried, but he didn't answer to these questions. You take that question, you repeat his research, and then you can check in your area, is there any answer for that question? You understand?
Yes.
So you are going to see how this research literature is going to support the area of your research, which is connected with your variables, dependent and independent variables. And what is involved in writing literature review? A research to discover what has been written about the topic, and critical appraisal to evaluate the literature, determine the relationship between the source and a certain has been done already, what still need to be done. So you can go and write, explain what is, what have you found, what you have found out. There are some steps to write effective literature review. Focus your topic and read with purpose and evaluate the source for each book or article consider. You can take your literatures from different places. You can take from the different sources literature. Okay. So the focus on your topics. According to your topic, you have to go. A literature review aims to cover all of the research on a given topic. If the topic is too long, there will be so much material to cover adequately. So you have to go for according to your topic. So training related things, you have to go and see literature on training. Employee turnover, you have to go and see the literature employee turnover. Okay. And sometimes marketing related things. So marketing mix, if you take marketing mix, you have to go and see the marketing. Human resource management practices, you have to go and see the human resource management practices related literature. Read with the purpose. Although you need to briefly summarize the source, you have to read it and summarize. And good literature review requires the isolated key themes and issues related to your own research interest. So according to your interest, you have to go and see that area and evaluate the source. So you have to go, the author is already credentials. You have to have some evidence and argument. Does the evidence support the conclusions? So you have to see according to his research, if any evidence support is there. So you have to bring, does all research arrive at the same conclusions or different opinions? So is there any gap? So you have to go and see. If you take 5 or 10 researches, by reading 10 researches, some researches are supportive, some researches are contradicting. Some researchers says there are some unanswered questions. So there are some gaps. You have to collect these things in the piece of paper. You have to write them and separate them, and then you have to choose in what area you are going to do your research. So first you have to go and see your literature, and based on the literature, problem area you have identified, and then you have to go and see your researches like that. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
So there will
Yes,
be
sir.
introductions and body and conclusion when you write your literature. So there will be introduction, you have to put an introduction, and there will be a body and then conclusion in your literature. So I will give you a sample how to write your literature. I have given this my research here. Impact on training and development and employee performance. Study tourist hotel in Batagor district, Sri Lanka, with a special reference to star hotels in Pasikuda. So I have the literature, see introductions. In this chapter, literature connected with the empirical study and the review. Literature mainly cover the independent variables such as training in this area and dependent variable performance. Training methods and also training methods. Management role in training and development discussed the intention of finding the answers to research questions connected with the research objectives. In my empirical study on behalf of the Hotel of Pakistan area in particular. Is that clear now? You understood? I have clearly mentioned
Yes, sir.
what is
Yes.
I'm going to do. And then I have discussed one by one. training and development, there are some literature I have taken. According to Gordon, this is the guide, stated, training is a type of activity which is to be planned systematically to enhance the level of knowledge, skills, competency needed to have. Where I got this one? This one I have got from the literature or some the references I have given. So I have to bring all the, if I quote anything, any information I have put in my writing, I have to support the references. I have discussed here Asia Foundation 2017 emphasized there have been a service gap in tourist hotels working in the hospitality industry. This statement I have taken from their literature. You understand? So what I have to do now? I have to give the reference for this. I can't write in my own. Whatever I have taken, I have to give that reference. So I have given the reference here. Can you look at this? See? Here, can you see this reference? Asia Foundation, this one. So in their official website, I have taken this idea. So wherever I take any information, right? If I write in my research, whatever I write, there should be a reference in the back, in their reference list, you have to bring them. Okay? You understand?